Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another weekly wrap up. We are looking at the week ending 7th of March 2025 into the nearly the end of the first quarter, Kathleen. Anyway, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you. And thank you also very much for tuning in to us. We so appreciate having you.
Yes, it's always good to have you here. And Kathleen, you went on a bit of an adventure yesterday. Tell our audience quickly what you were up to.
Yes, I went on a lovely excursion with my mom to see The Lion King in Toronto. It was just fantastic. If anyone ever has the opportunity to go see The Lion King, the beautiful production, it is just phenomenal. The costuming, the music, it was just outstanding. It really was. I'm so happy that we went.
Oh, well done. That sounds like fun. Good. Well, you've got the floor, Kathleen, so why don't you go
Okay.
straight into your deep dive today?
Yes. Well, today, Peter, I want to talk about some superfoods that help to fight against Alzheimer's disease, or in fact,
Mm,
any cognitive decline. So, we are going to put the link to the full article below this video if you're interested in reading the full article. But here is kind of some the high points. It says, well, did you know that the brain has an amazing ability to adapt and grow new neural pathways at any age? And it's
mm,
called neuroplasticity. And anything from doing daily brain games to eating the right foods can help optimize that. So, nutrient-dense foods can help support cognitive health and can ultimately protect against decline. So, what should you be eating, basically? And a lot of people are confused on this point too. But let me clarify. So there's the fatty fish, such as salmon, tuna, cod, anchovies, and sardines are
mm,
rich in omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, which is found in large quantities in the brain. So what else? We have berries that are packed with antioxidant polyphenols that protect against oxidative stress, which can cause cell damage in the brain. So blueberries in particular are considered a superfruit because they help fight Alzheimer's disease. And then we have turmeric or the curcumin, which is the
mm.
active ingredient in turmeric, which is a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compound that may improve memory and help age-related mental decline. There's also your cruciferous veggies like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower are all also anti-inflammatory and high in vitamin C and flavonoids, and both of which are linked to improving brain health. Then we have your whole grains. So your whole grains, such as your barleys, your brown rice, your quinoas, farro, and buckwheat, are rich in your B vitamins as well as fiber, which can also help lower cholesterol and improve your brain health as well. Then we have your citrus fruits. So not only are oranges, tangerines, and grapefruits high in antioxidant powered vitamin C, but their outer peels contain a specific flavonoid called nobiletine, which has potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. It was also studied for its potential to treat Alzheimer's disease. So when we talk about the peel, you know, when certain recipes call for orange zest,
Mhm.
that's part of the peel. So there you go. It's
Okay.
all healthy.
Okay.
It's all good for your brain health. And then we've got your dark chocolate, Peter, not your milk chocolate, mind
Ah,
you.
I love
Your
dark chocolate.
I know, dark chocolate, which cocoa beans, it says, are rich in flavonols that are linked to a slower rate of cognitive decline. So, research has linked consumption of 70% dark chocolate with improved cognitive performance. So there you go. You want your dark chocolate? There you go. 70% dark chocolate is what they're recommending here. Then we have your dark leafy greens, such as your spinach, your kale, your collard greens are brimming with essential nutrients, including folate and B vitamins that play a vital role in promoting optimal brain function by aiding in the production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. And then you've
Mm.
got other foods which are like beans and coffee and green tea, avocado, and olive oil. So there you go. There's no shortage of brain nutrient dense foods out there. So I've just given you a wonderful list. So have a
Wow. That's quite a list. I'm glad you mentioned dark chocolate. Is there now I know everything is supposed to be in moderation, but is there a limit to how much dark chocolate one should eat a day?
well, it did
Just asking, yeah.
well, it didn't say, but if you even had a little chunk of dark chocolate as a dessert, let's say, instead of munching on some cake or cookies or what have you, but if you just had a little square of dark chocolate with a cup of green tea, wouldn't that be lovely? I would do
Yeah.
that.
My problem is one little square leads to another little
The
square.
whole
Next minute, the
bar.
whole bar's gone. Then there's another interesting one that I've been reading about, and that's resveratrol, which comes from red grape skins and red wine, right? And that's supposed to be a very important one for diet.
Yes.
And then recently we both heard about another one, which is called sea buckthorn, isn't it? Sea buckthorn.
Sea buck. Yeah, as in
Sea buck.
SEA buckthorn. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a guest who'll be coming up in a few weeks' time, was talking about it. And I happened to, a few days before we interviewed that guest, I happened to see a documentary about Cornwall in England, where they've established like a 10-acre orchard for growing sea buckthorn, and it has some amazing health properties. And it's something we'll look into a little more to report back on. So there's some interesting ones. Well, thanks for that, Kathleen. And another quick one that in my reading this week, I came across a very good article on mammograms by Dr. I think it's Dr. Yockers or Dr. Jockers, and we'll put a link in the article to that. And this is something that you've done a lot of research on in the past. And in fact, we had a guest on the show a couple of years ago talking about thermography. Um, Perhaps you can summarize that. You've seen the article as well, better than I can. Do you want to have a few words about that, Kathleen?
Well, you know what, Peter, I don't want to tell women specifically what to do with their bodies, but personally, I go for thermography over mammograms, and that's my personal choice. The level of radiation from mammograms just scares me, and I opt for thermography. And luckily, we have in our city a beautiful clinic that provides that service. And in fact, I'm going for another thermography as a follow-up next month.
Hmm.
This actually helps to identify hotspots. Basically, is what it is they identify hotspots within your breast tissue, and depends on, they have a doctor analyze the results, of course, but it can actually determine if you're on a course towards something, could be something nefarious, or you could be normal. So
Hmm.
I always go for thermography. It's not something here in Canada that is yet covered by our health coverage, but it's worth it. It really is for your peace of mind, because they
Sure.
can sometimes identify issues before even a mammogram that I've
Hmm.
handled. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, in this article, they tell you how much earlier thermography can detect it compared to a mammogram, and it's huge, a huge advantage. I can't remember the exact details, as I say. If you, for our audience, if you want to know more, read the article. But it's like months earlier that a thermography
Yeah.
could detect it. As me, as a man, the other thing that struck me in that article is the potential damage from the mechanical action of squeezing your breasts for this mammogram. I can just imagine what that feels like, but there's some indications that that itself can cause harm and could even aggravate if you've got potential cancer cells growing there. So it's all in the article. It's all in the article. So thanks, Kathleen, for that one.
Thank you for pointing that out, Peter. Yeah.
Now you've got a health product, Dr. Moore's product to talk about. What are you going to talk about today?
Yes, well, today, Peter, the gut health is so important, right? And we often talk about gut health, and we've had a lot of guests on this show about gut health. But what I wanted to promote today is, of course, Dr. Moore's GI Broom,
Mm,
which is they're supplements. I take them on a regular basis. So just to show you, you know, they're
Oh
just
yeah.
regular supplements. But the GI Broom is a powerful herbal laxative that your body, by the way, does not become dependent on. A lot of the over-the-counter drugstore laxatives, if you start taking those on a regular basis, your body will become dependent on them. Not with
Mm.
this. This is a natural herbal laxative. It's also a lymphatic puller. So what it functions to promote the removal of buildup from the intestinal wall using psyllium husk and Cascara sagrada, but it also stimulates the flow of interstitial fluid from the gut lining into the lymphatic circulation and elimination with chickweed, plantain, aloe resin. It really helps to support the body's cleansing and detoxification process, Peter. It's a fantastic product. It really is.
Wow.
And
And
we
it
will
can be.
provide a link, by the way, I should mention.
We will
We'll
do. We
provide a
will
link to
do.
that product in this video. But also, if you go to Dr. Morse and plug in Yakking Show into the discount code, you will get a discount on all of his products.
Will do. Will do. And there's no contraindications between GI Brim and dark chocolate, for example. So you can happily consume both.
Yes.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for that, Kathleen.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So let's tell you what's been happening on the Yakking Show. Well, this week, being the second week, we published an episode with Scott Bucco, and Scott helps people overcome traumatic brain injury. He calls himself my brain mechanic. He has a very comprehensive website and he works one-on-one with people. He's an expert in functional medicine, so he looks at the whole body. And he's had some remarkable success with people who have had fairly significant traumatic brain injuries and help them improve, if not 100% back to their old selves, but certainly to enjoy a much better quality of life than they were preparing themselves for from what the conventional approach had been telling them. So that's a really good article. If you had a brain injury or if you know someone who has, it's well worth watching or listening to this particular episode. In 2 weeks' time, on the 18th, we will have Thea Trussler, who trains service and companion dogs to care for people who are suffering from some disability, some illness, some incapacitation. She works a lot with people with ADHD, with autism, and some of the stories she was telling us about how clever these little dogs are. And some of them are rescue dogs, right? They're just mongrels. They're not anything special, but it's quite amazing what these dogs can do and how they help people. So that's another really good article coming up. And that was about it. And one little thing that I want to mention is, we've been going nearly 5 years with the Yakking Show, and we started off primarily business and general interests, and that's why we called it the Yakking Show, because we were yakking about all sorts of things. But over the last year and a half, we moved 100% into the holistic health category, and we are focusing on health and helping you live a healthier, better life. And we recognize that some of the branding of the Yakking Show might not be the best for what we're focusing on. So there's going to be some changes. We will let you know more as we develop. We've got a new website being built up and some other exciting stuff coming up. So that's all coming down the pipeline. But as always, we've got a lot of interesting guests coming for you. Make sure you don't miss out. Hop on at the moment to yakkingshow.com and fill in the form to sign up for our newsletter. We only send you one email a week and just tell you who's on this week, who's coming in 2 weeks' time, and a few other bits of information, and of course, Kathleen's deep dive. And our featured author this week is Sarah Dawkins from episode 332. There'll be a link in the description with her book, Heal Yourself, Remarkable Journeys of Ordinary People Healing Themselves. Sarah herself had a whole lot of health issues, was grossly overweight, and did the research, did the work, did lots and lots of work. And by eating healthily and living a healthier lifestyle, she's just transformed herself and she's helped a lot of other people do it. And all their stories are in the book. So that's our book, featured author and featured book for the week. Now it's back to you, Kathleen.
Thanks, Peter. Well, thank you once again for tuning in. And until next week, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.